Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of StormCast. We are so glad you're here watching with us. We're going to have a lot that we're going to be talking about tonight. It is great to have a great panel on here with us as well. From left to right, we've got Dan Cloene up in Elkhorn, Wisconsin, going to be giving us some excellent information on the winter weather going on up there.
Good evening.
And out in Bartlettsville, Oklahoma, it's our team member, John Maples, with us. Great to have you on the StormCast this evening, John. Moving up into the Northeast, we got Laura Kosh up in Butler, Pennsylvania. Good evening, Laura.
Good evening.
Awesome. And down in sunny Florida, with the temperature breaking 80 degrees, it's Rob Salso. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. And I'm your host, Joe Pisani, Extreme Weather Videos here, HQ in Atlanta, Georgia. So we've got a great StormCast on planned for tonight. Remember that you guys can tweet us during the show. Just use our hashtag EWVStormCast. Anytime during the show, we'll see your guys' comments, questions. Maybe you have something you want us to talk about on the next episode. Shoot that over to us on Twitter, hashtag EWVStormCast. So a couple top stories that we're going to be discussing this evening for our StormCast. Three main top stories this evening. The first one we'll be discussing will be, of course, Winter Storm Lucian. The second one will be severe weather that we have upcoming for the plains this week, tomorrow and Thursday, and then flooding for the Ohio Valley. So that is exactly what we're going to be talking about. So let's jump right into it. This here, something we show you guys every single StormCast. It's a great way for us to start out. So Dan, kind of let us know what we're looking at here on our current winter storm watches, warnings, advisories, and other hazards we have out there tonight.
Yeah, well, so through the upper plains there, you can see a lot of winter weather watches and advisories as Lucian moves its way through. You can see up towards the northern 2/3 of Wisconsin and a little bit up there towards the UP winter storm warning. And then just to my south, south of the border into Illinois and Iowa, I believe, Joey, that should be ice warnings.
Yes, ice storm warning, yeah.
We'll talk about a little bit more about that later. Moving east nearly across the entire state of Michigan under a winter weather, that should be a winter weather advisory.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as over to parts of New England. And then, as you said on the breakdown there in the opening outline, flooding all across the Ohio Valley.
Yep.
So definitely some areas to watch over the next couple of days as the storm system moves through.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan, for that. So let's jump right into it here. We do have two mesoscale discussions, and this one does affect your area there, Dan. Freezing rain, sleet expected to continue to move northeast across southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois through the evening. So before we move on to the next one, Dan, just kind of let us know what's the day been like for you? How's it unfolded there across southern Wisconsin?
Well, today and this morning was actually relatively decent. Temperatures were right around the freezing mark. And then I would say right around 5, 6 o'clock central, we started to see that mixed precipitation go through. We started off with mainly freezing rain. I would happen to be right along that transition line where then for a period of time it did transition to snow. And then literally about 10 minutes before we went on air tonight, I can hear the ice coming down. So we're right along those lines. And when you're ready to talk about that, Joey, I have some radar available that we could take a closer look at that.
Awesome. Well, before we get into that, you bring up an excellent point there with the transition, because that has been really and it's going to be a key story here with Lucian. Let me show you guys, share this here. So this is kind of what we're expecting to unfold over the next really, and it's not like a super fast moving storm system here either. So we're expecting, you know, it really to develop and the low pressure system to really strengthen as it crosses over to Lake Michigan there. And really on the back side there, we're going to be seeing some heavy snowfall totals, but also that freezing rain is going to be moving through there, portions of Illinois this evening into tomorrow. Here are some of the snowfall totals that we are expecting, particularly some of the hardest hit areas there across north central and northern Wisconsin, anywhere maybe up close to a foot possible for some of those locations, and then into the UP of Michigan as well. 8 to 10 inches, possibly a couple places even more than that. Down in your area there in southern Wisconsin, maybe a half an inch. Not expecting too much snow from what I've seen.
No, but I would wager to guess, though, that where the temperature is, where they're at, I'm willing to bet that that's going to be that heavy, wet snow, a lot of moisture content in that snow up there. So when you're looking for those 7 to 11 inches, nearly a foot, that's probably going to be that heavy, wet stuff, won't it?
Yeah, most likely. Exactly. But, you know, the snow is, I mean, Wisconsin, 7 to 10 inches isn't a whole lot normally, right? I mean, they're kind of used to that.
It's manageable. It's largely, in my opinion, based on duration. So if it's spread out a long enough period of time where they're able to keep up with at least most of the major roads, then it's not that big of an issue. You know, when you get up closer towards a foot, it's still a decent amount of snow, and a lot of those back roads up there, they might not be passable. So I would definitely take some caution. Interstates in that, they should be able to keep up fairly well, but I would definitely use some caution on those back roads.
Yeah, and, you know, so definitely for sure. Now, talk to us a little bit, Dan, about, you know, the icing situation there. I know a lot of it's to your south ice storm warning, but you guys are still going to be getting some ice up there, right?
Yeah, we're still going to get some ice out of this thing. As you can see, the higher ice totals, looking at the graphic on the left there, down towards Kenosha, up to perhaps a half-inch thick ice. That may not sound like a large number, but that's actually quite a bit of ice. You start getting ice that thick, it can start bringing down power lines and things like that. And that's not even to mention the conditions of the roads. Now, earlier this evening when I was on my way home from work, I noticed that they already started to pre-treat the roads, laying down salt before anything even started. And that's somewhat effective to a degree. But you start getting those ice accumulations, it doesn't take much for those roads to get quite slippery. Snow is manageable, but ice makes it really tough, and it's also hard to see where those slippery spots are versus snow. So this taking a look here, this was our timeline. We are under a, that should be a winter weather advisory for ice conditions. We're not under an ice warning like northern Illinois is, but we do have that winter weather advisory that is in effect now until 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow.
Got it. Wow. So hopefully it's not too bad. I know up further north of the hazards area there is where that kind of that winter storm warning starts.
Yeah, so they should remain just cold enough to have this be a snow event for them, which is why we see those totals higher. Also, a large portion of the precipitation itself is up that way too, but they should stay all snow. We got a little bit of snow already, but I think we're going to be right along that 32-degree mark for those ice to form there.
Awesome. Now, interestingly enough, not only are we talking the snow and the ice here with this storm, but it's also going to have a severe weather side to it as well. And we're really going to start seeing that developing tomorrow. So, Rob, tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here for our risk areas for tomorrow and for Thursday as well, because the Storm Prediction Center has put out a couple risk areas. So what are we looking at here?
Tomorrow we have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms from eastern Oklahoma into southwest Missouri and northern Arkansas. A couple of severe storms may occur Wednesday afternoon, but should become more probable after dark from the southern plains into parts of the Ozarks and lower Ohio Valley, as you see there on the graphic. So they should be getting some nice storms over there.
Yep, and we actually have John here with us this evening. So, John, I mean, you're there in Bartlettsville, Oklahoma. So what's the chatter like out there in Oklahoma among, chasers and meteorologists and things like that? What are they expecting out of this?
There's not a real high tornado threat, so it's not zero, but they're just keeping an eye out for that. And mostly hail and wind. Hang on, let me pull up where I can do the window thing. Sure, I actually had it pulled up and I forgot all about it. It's not doing it. But anyways, pretty much their main risk here is maximum winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour, quarter-size hail to $50, and there's a low tornado threat. It's mostly south of I-44, heading towards Muskogee, Fort Worth, McAllister, Fayetteville area. So, and like they said, it'd be this in the afternoon, evening, overnight.
Yeah, into the overnight hours as well. I mean, that's going to be definitely something that's going to be, could be serious. Overnight storms are nothing to laugh at. So definitely make sure you have a way to receive warnings. Excellent way that you can receive warnings. Maybe you don't have a NOAA weather radio available. If you download the app called Zello and go on there and look up EWV Weather Warnings and Alerts channel, follow that channel because we actually announce the different severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings over on that channel. It's free to use. You only have to have either an internet connection or your mobile data connection to be able to connect to it. So if you don't have a weather radio, but you have a smartphone, there's an excellent way for you to receive warnings. John, so you got that graphic pulled up. Go ahead and talk to us about that.
Yeah, I got finally pulled up. This is the what the National Weather Service in Tulsa is thinking. Again, like I said, the main risk is going to be in Muskogee, Fayetteville, and a little bit south of that area. And this is the winds, hail, and like I said, the low tornado threat. It's not a zero, so anybody in this area should be keeping an eye out for that. But at the same time, the northern part of the state gets to deal with the winter weather advisory, which is where I'm at.
Gotcha. They're in Bartlettsville.
Yeah,
wow.
They're going to have some freezing rain. It was starting earlier. I don't know if it'll pull up my radar. Is it showing my radar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, over here in Kay County, it's already started, but we've had it off and on. One thing I did notice that is over here towards this area, we're actually getting some decent little thunderstorms.
Yep.
So it's all kinds of weather up in Oklahoma today.
Just depends on what part of the state you're in.
It actually confused the Bartlesville airport. If you notice the precipitation, it says unknown precipitation. It's a mystery.
I like that.
I was just going to point out that it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of distance between the two different types of weather that you're going to have there. You got a tornado, a small tornado threat to the south, and then winter weather just to the north, and not that large of a distance.
Well, this is another, there's a cold front in the area, so obviously, but like right here at this station, they have a temperature of 70 degrees. You go north probably about 50, 75 miles, and it's, let's see, where's it at? Yeah, wind chill of 36.
43 degree temperature.
Yeah, 43 degree temperature. So that cold front right there in the middle is where they're expecting the severe weather to possibly break out tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's a very slow moving system overall. And it's going to be a multi-day threat. So that's tomorrow. And then Thursday, Rob, there's also severe weather that's expected on Thursday as well.
Yeah.
So what are they saying about Thursday?
They are saying there is going to be a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms across portions of the Arctic region into the Ozark Plateau. Isolated severe threat may persist Thursday morning across parts of the Arctic into the Ozark Plateau before diminishing by the afternoon. So we may get some storms that day, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, so right now it's just a marginal risk. I mean, so this whole storm system, I mean, we've got snow to the north, snow all the way down into Oklahoma, severe weather, and it doesn't stop there, guys. Another thing is that it's going to be, you know, also bringing some flooding. Before we get into that, let's take a quick look here at the current situation. John was looking at the radar there in Oklahoma. Dan, can you pull up the radar there up in Wisconsin? So this is what we're talking about. So all this area that you see there in the red, that is where you're having that freezing rain and sleet kind of mixing in there. Where the purple's at, kind of, you can see that line there. Excellent. Kind of just goes right just south of Milwaukee, down toward Janesville, and then over into extreme northwest Illinois. North of that is all going to be snow, where you see that heavy blue. So up toward Fond du Lac, Oshkosh, Appleton, even up to Green Bay, getting in on some good snow. But south of that, that's where we're going to be, you know, really focusing on that ice storm threat, anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch possible, anywhere from Rockford over toward those areas there. That's going to be where your main ice threat's going to be. Seeing a little bit of snow mixing in there over toward DeKalb. And then, interestingly enough, maybe even a little bit of rain, a little bit warmer there on the front side of that near Aurora, and seeing a little bit of rain there in the warm section. So you can really see here where your cold front is set up with the cold behind it, warm air out ahead of it. So you've got a little bit of rainfall there. And then even in Chicago, so we're seeing that, you know, change over, and it's really those temperature profiles. That's why you see sometimes it will go from, you know, all ice to then changing over to sleet and snow, because once that temperature profile, once that cold air filters all the way through the entire layer, all the way down to the surface, then it will come down as snow and not as freezing rain. So there's going to be that little flip-flop back and forth here throughout the evening. Probably seeing a little bit more snow developing as we get later into the evening for much of central and southern Illinois. A lot of that's probably going to end up changing over. So we're going to be definitely keeping an eye out there. And you can even see some of that rain there now changing over to freezing rain there in around the Lincoln area there. So again, as those temperatures cool, that's gonna change the precipitation type that is falling down there at the ground. So it's going to be a long night out there in Illinois and up into southern Wisconsin. Northern Wisconsin, pretty much just all snow. So enjoy it there in northern Wisconsin. But again, could see some heavier snow rates there. You can see a pretty big heavy pocket there of snow northwest of the Green Bay area. And those are some of the areas where we're expecting, you know, those over the next 2 to 3 days, up to, you know, 8 to 10 inches of snowfall possible. So definitely going to be something worth watching there. A little bit of mixing there going in there. You can see up near Tomahawk, east of Sparta there. That could just be some local effects there. Maybe, I'm not sure if there's a power plant out there or something like that maybe. So very interesting weather going on across Wisconsin for this evening and through the overnight hours. So someplace going to wake up in the morning with possibly 4 to 6 inches of snow already on the ground. So very interesting, very interesting. Moving on to our next story again is the flooding threat. And this is going to be a pretty big threat across a large area here in the Ohio Valley. So anywhere from western Pennsylvania there, kind of where you're at, Laura, all the way down through northern Arkansas. A widespread amount, anywhere from 2 up to 6 inches of rainfall is expected over the next 48 hours, 48 to 54 hours or so. This here goes out through 66 hours. So up there in Pennsylvania, I mean, what are they saying anything for flooding for you? I know a little bit later here we'll take a look at kind of what's going on with the rivers there in Pennsylvania, but have they said anything about the incoming rainfall up there?
So far, nothing has been said about it. I do know Wednesday night, Thursday, we are supposed to get periods of rain. And what concerns me are the ice jams on the rivers with all the heavy rain we're going to be receiving. Because once that ice breaks up and starts to move, it's going to be a problem for bridges and possibly property.
Exactly. And that's what happens a lot with these ice jams is if you have a heavy rainfall and there's an ice jam, all that water gets backed up.
Exactly. I know Thursday morning I plan to make the drive up to the Allegheny River and monitor conditions and possibly shoot some footage.
Awesome. Well, if you get some, definitely we'll be looking for it. And so definitely, guys, be sure to hit that subscribe button here on our YouTube page so you can get notified when we upload new content from chasers like Laura up there in Pennsylvania. So you can see it right here on Extreme Weather Videos here on YouTube. Total's going to be, I think maybe, Laura, why they haven't issued a flood watch for your area is because it's supposed to be more of, kind of hit and miss, widespread, scattered over a longer period of time. Whereas places like Kentucky and southern Ohio into southern Indiana and Illinois, it's going to be more of that, heavy, persistent rainfall, especially there along the Ohio River. Here are some of the totals that they're actually forecasting for some of these areas. So, I mean, nothing to laugh at. This is here through Thursday night. So over the next 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, near 4 inches in places like Paducah, Kentucky, Evansville, Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky, about 3.5 inches, even up towards Cincinnati, Ohio, close to 3 inches, Lexington, a little over 3 inches, and Bowling Green, right around 3 inches, 1.5 to 2 inches, even kind of spreading that down toward Nashville, maybe on the north side of Nashville, 3 to 4. But a widespread area of, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain there. So definitely going to be expecting some moderate to heavy rainfall there. Thunderstorms possible, which would, up those rainfall totals anywhere that those thunderstorms can set up and sit over an area for an extended period of time in association here with the storm system. So that brings us to our next section here. One of my favorite parts of the StormCast here, This Week in Media. So this past week, I'm sure you guys saw some of these pictures here from the Sierra Nevadas in California. This was sent to us by R. Carl Mark on Twitter. This is from Bear Valley, California there. So that was about close to 10 feet of snow up at this ski resort lodge there. So, I mean, absolutely impressive snowfall there for sure. And this is a video that one of our friends sent in to us, Justin Franson, of the frozen ice falls there in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I mean, absolutely impressive. Look at that. So, I mean, that was amazing. I mean, have you guys ever seen frozen waterfalls like that? I mean, I know we posted a picture earlier this week about Niagara Falls that was frozen, and that was amazing. That's the only time I remember seeing Niagara Falls frozen like twice in my life when I was a kid, but it's just a sight to see. I mean, does that happen up there in Wisconsin, Dan?
I don't know quite like that. I mean, that's a pretty impressive ice fall right there. So I don't know. I haven't seen anything like that, but yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there were, but I mean, it's a great video. Thank you, Justin, for sending that in.
Absolutely.
Beautiful video.
Yeah. So There's that. And then this is Laura. Those ice jams you were just talking about. So this is up in Parker, Pennsylvania. So Laura, talk to us a little bit about what you saw here.
I actually documented the river ice in 3 different areas. I started out in East Brady, PA, where there was a huge ice jam. And then I drove up to Parker, where there's another huge ice jam. And last but not least, I ended my trip in Foxburg, PA, which is only 3 miles up the river from Parker, but there was no river ice in Foxburg. Just north of the bridge, I saw another ice jam forming, but there was no way I can get footage of that one because it's all private property, and I did not want to trespass.
Got it. Are ice jams common up there, or I mean, do you feel like it was kind of occurred because of that, tremendous cold outbreak that you had last week?
They are common whenever we have a period of bitter cold weather. In 2014, there was serious flooding in Parker.
Wow.
Because of
and
the
that's
ice
where
jam.
That's where this picture is from Parker. And that's the Allegheny River, right?
That's correct.
Got it. Yeah. I've been in that area there along the Allegheny River. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
For sending that in.
Anytime. Thank you.
Yep. And we got I think we got one more picture here. Yep. This is from Rob, RJ Salso on Twitter. This is some of the fog that you guys had down there in Florida. So talk to us about it, Rob.
Yeah, we that picture was taken about around 9 a.m. Woke up very, very foggy out. Humidity was 100%. It was just very foggy and very muggy. And it's been like that. We had a dense fog advisory until 10 a.m. That was Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday morning. That was when that occurred. I remember last year, Super Bowl, it was actually a rainy day that day, but we just got fog Sunday.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sending in the picture for sure. That is absolutely pretty neat there. Pretty dense fog for sure. Probably visibility, say, looks like maybe less than half a mile for sure.
I think, yeah.
Yep. And then this picture here, this was sent in to us from Cindy out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, another one of our team members. So what you see here, you've got the moon, you have Venus and Jupiter all in the same shot. So this was this past week. You may have seen something on that on, I know Weather Channel was talking about it. So she was actually able to go out and grab a picture of that. So thank you, Cindy, for sending that in. And folks, remember, you can always send in your pictures as well to us. Dan, what's the best way for folks to send in their pictures to us?
Great way to post it would be right on Twitter and using the hashtag EWVLive. You do that, we'll be able to search for your photos, and we would love to share them with everybody else on the next episode of StormCast.
Got it. Yes, Icecast. Hopefully not. Oh, man. Thank you so much, Dan. So, Rob, it is your turn for your favorite part of the show. Let's talk a little bit about what happened today in weather history with Rob Salso.
Okay, 1892, February 5th. At Verkhansk, Russia, the temperature fell to -90. The coldest temperature ever in the Northern Hemisphere. The record would be tied at the same location only 2 days later. Very cold.
That's freezing.
Also, 2002, tropical cyclone Chris affected the northern coast of Australia with battering winds gusting up to 125 miles per hour. Fortunately, the region was sparsely populated, and the reason why they're getting that weather is because they're in the southern hemisphere, so it really is like our August here in the northern.
Sorry, go ahead.
Also, today is National Weatherman's Day.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And that leads us right into our roundtable talk here. So one thing I always like to do is I've always have different people here on the show. So great to have all of you guys. So for a roundtable talk tonight, feel free to share, any thoughts or comments you guys have about upcoming weather. But I also want to ask, who is your favorite weatherman from this past year? So I'll start. I'm going to say one of my favorite weather people from this past year would actually be one of my professors. His name is Greg Nordstrom. He's a professor at Mississippi State University, and he's also a storm chaser. And the reason I want to thank him is because I have just learned a lot from his classes in the past year that I've taken. So great guy, a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience. He's really big into hurricanes and tropical storms, which is kind of right up my alley. So definitely check out some of his stuff as well on YouTube, and follow him on Twitter at Greg Nordstrom. Really cool guy. Highly recommended. Who wants to go next?
I will.
All right, Rob.
My fair weather person is you, Joey.
Okay.
Because
Appreciate that.
you guys did the periscopes and helped us do Hurricane Irma, and that's how I got on the team.
That's awesome, man. We're glad that you were able to stay safe during Hurricane Irma, and it wasn't too bad down there. And glad to have you on our team as well.
Thank you.
Awesome. Anyone else got a favorite weather person?
I'll go.
All right, Dan.
It's hard to narrow it down to just one. I feel like in at least my area here, we're fortunate to have a lot of good meteorologists. Our office is really good about posting a lot of graphics and sending out information and, notifications on Facebook and that. But if I had to pick one, I've always enjoyed watching Brian Goddard. Yeah, he's on TMJ4 in my area. And I follow him on Twitter and that. And when you watch his forecasts on TV, he not only tells you what's going to happen and when it's going to happen, but I enjoy listening to the why. He'll go into explaining a lot of different things on TV, which I think is kind of neat. Not all of them do that. So I appreciate that. He's also very social. We'll see him out every once in a while, like State Fair or something like that. These will stop and take a minute to say hi to people and that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I would give a shout out to him. So
awesome.
Always good to watch.
Cool. Laura, John, you guys got a favorite weather person?
I'll go ahead and go. Up here in Northeast Oklahoma, we have, several. I also work for a media outlet, so I'm a little bit biased. But this last weekend, we had my severe weather special, and we invited the public to come learn about severe weather and stuff. And Michael Sager from Fox 23 out of Tulsa actually came up and did the whole morning part from 9 to 12, talking about severe weather and his videos and stuff like that. And I think it shows that, he's humble enough to come out and, talk severe weather with people.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Awesome. What about you, Laura?
I think there's a lot I follow on Facebook and Twitter. But probably my favorite meteorologist is Eric Wilhelm. He is based out of Youngstown, Ohio. It covers Eastern Ohio and Western PA. I enjoy watching his program called Weather Geeks. He posts on Facebook every evening because he goes into detail about what's going to happen. He gives scenarios. He explains computer models, and best of all, he does not hype up the forecast. He tells it like it is.
Yes. Shout out for not hyping up the forecast. Awesome. Yep. Awesome. All right. Well, it is time for our roundtable talk now here on StormCast with EWV. We'll probably do a little bit of a lightning round here. You guys can just kind of tell us what you guys are expecting this week, where you guys are at in the weather, and how you're going to stay safe this week for that type of weather. So, Dan, we'll start with you again. We'll work our way right down the line. Talk to us about what you have going on this week.
Oh, well, like I mentioned, right now we're still under that winter weather advisory until 6 o'clock Wednesday morning. Our highs Wednesday are going to be right around that 32-degree mark. And then it's going to get cold. It's going to get down. Our high on Friday is supposed to be 10. And that's after a chance of some snow Thursday night. We'll rebound a little bit on Saturday. It's going to be clear, which won't help the temperatures, but we might get all the way up to 18. So a little bit of ice tonight, possible snow Thursday, cold again on Friday, and weekend's not really looking a whole lot better. It's February in Wisconsin.
Hey, better than April, right?
Well, I'm just glad. I'm just so fortunate that we're not suffering like Rob is down in Florida with. I don't know how you stand those 80-degree temps and all that fog. That's just got to be absolutely terrible. So I wish you had better weather like us up here, but I'm sure you're dealing with it the best way you can.
Yeah. Rob, do you have something you want to say there?
No, but I don't want to be freezing cold either.
Right.
Hey,
I guess I iced him. He wasn't too sure what he wanted to say.
It is February, and we were talking about National Weather Person's Day, and before the StormCast, me and Dan were actually talking. He was saying something about Skywarn classes. A lot of Skywarn classes kind of should be starting up. So definitely check your local National Weather Service office, see if they've published their Skywarn spotter schedule, and definitely encourage you guys to go and attend that and learn. It's a great opportunity if you're wanting to become a storm spotter. This is the time to do it because usually in February is when they offer a lot of those classes. They'll usually do it for a couple weeks in February. So just go to your local Skywarn page. And then they should have us, not everyone probably yet, but again, like there you go. Exactly. So this is Tulsa, Oklahoma, 2019 Skywarn Storm Spotter training schedule right there. Exactly. So you just go to your National Weather Service office homepage, and then you should see either under news headlines or sometimes it's in the main thing. Then you can just click that, and they'll usually have a list of the classes that will be offered, where they will be held at, also the time, and sometimes a contact number of like who to call and stuff like that. So yeah, they're in Tulsa. They've got them through March.
I wanted to add one other thing to that too, if I could. That's even if you've already gone through it, maybe it's been a couple of years. It never hurts to go back in just for a brush up. See what, if anything has changed, or maybe there's, a little something that you forgot. It never hurts to go back up and get in there for a refresher either.
Exactly. I know two of our team members, Donnie and Bobby, just went to their Skywarn class this past week. So did their recertification and stuff like that. Excellent point, Dan. Excellent. What do you got for us, John?
Oh, just kind of what I talked about earlier. Parts of the state will get severe weather. Parts of the state will get freezing rain. I probably will be going out this evening working for Fox, and then probably at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning covering the roads and stuff if they're slick or whatever. So
they'll stay safe out there for sure.
Yeah, we're supposed to warm up a little bit, and then we go right back to it. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. What about you, Laura? What are you expecting this week?
I'm expecting off and on rain. I plan on going up to the river again on possibly Thursday. It's not an earlier, probably definitely ice stands. And then Saturday, I'm going to be 28.
We're having a hard time hearing you there. Laura?
Hello?
It's just really quiet on our end, but I got the first part of it. So, but yeah, definitely stay dry up there for sure with that rain, and hopefully don't have too much flooding there from those ice jams.
I hope not, but if it's raining hard enough, I will probably be out Thursday morning early afternoon, documenting.
All right. Well, if you're out, stay safe out there for sure. If you're out in that. So again, thank you for being with us. All right, Rob, what are you looking like down there for sunny Florida this week? You guys getting any rain or gonna stay sunny?
We might get some rain here this weekend, but it's gonna be very dry this month. Kind of like last month. March is looking all right for rain, but temperatures, like Dan said, it's gonna be in the 80s and going back and forth 80s and 70s for the highs, and then March we should be constantly 80. So pretty much the same thing as January.
Awesome. Well, hopefully don't suffer too much down there. So, yep. Here in Atlanta, it's going to be pretty warm these next couple days. I mean, today we actually, I think, got right up to about 70 degrees. And these next 2 days going to be warm as well. Maybe breaking that 75 mark by Thursday with some potential of a little bit of rain moving in. And then once that front goes through, temps are going to kind of go back to what they should be. But it's also going to be a lot more rainy. It's going to kind of be back to what it was in December, where it rains pretty much every day, on and off, occasional showers, highs in the 50s, lows in the 40s. So I'm going to enjoy these next couple days up here while we can. So it's been good. But again, thank you guys so much to all of our viewers for watching. Again, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you, Dan, John, Laura, and Rob for being on here and talking with us tonight. Make sure that you, again, shoot us some photos and videos over on Twitter this week. And we want you to, again, have a great week. Stay safe out there. Continue to experience the extreme with all of us here at Extreme Weather Videos. For more, again, be sure to subscribe to us. Follow us on Twitter. Have a great evening. Thanks for watching here on Extreme Weather Videos. We'll see you guys on the next StormCast.